Bertie's Historic Discovery. Written and told by Kiefer Adams. Oh, come on, Bertie. Spill the beans, why don't you? No, I will not, Bertie grumbled. It was summer on the island of Sodor, and the engines had been welcomed by a visitor called Algy. Algy had come from the mainland and was giving visitors a tour of the island of Sodor. Since his arrival, he had delighted in teasing Bertie. "Is there a problem, Bertie?" asked Duck as he pulled up alongside. "Yes, there is," Bertie grumbled. "Can you tell this blue fiddle-faddle to leave me alone?" "Only if you'll admit that something exciting has happened to you," said Algy. "After all, racing a tank engine and stopping some runaway trucks isn't really exciting, is it?" "Bertie was hailed a hero for stopping those trucks," said Duck. "I should know. Percy wouldn't stop going on about it." "I'll prove to you that I've done something exciting, and will do something exciting," said Bertie. "Just you wait." He rolled away. "I won't bet on it," called Algy. Duck rolled his eyes and made his way to the platform of Tidmouth Station, ignoring everything that he heard from the blue bus. But as Bertie travelled along his usual route, his heart sank. "Who am I kidding?" he groaned. "I'm just that red bus that gets stuck in a mud all the time. Algy's right. Nothing exciting ever happens to me." Bertie was so distracted by this, he accidentally turned off from his normal bus route. Even his driver was disorientated as Bertie rolled along a small but old country road. By the time Bertie realised where he was too far away from his own route. "Wait a minute," Bertie spluttered. "Where are we? I don't recognise this road." "Neither do I," replied his driver, "but we must try and go back the way we came or—" "Hello!" Bertie and his driver stopped suddenly when a voice called out to them. Hello?" Bertie called. "Is anyone there?"
"Look over here,"
said the voice. Bertie carefully looked to his right, and there, sitting in a field, was an old, battered vintage car. It was covered in moss, mud, and overgrowth. Bertie thought there was something familiar about this car, but he couldn't figure out what it was. "Are you all right?" Bertie asked. "Who are you?"
"Well, my name's Benson,"
replied the car. Bertie's driver then realised. "Is there a phone box up the road?" he said. Bertie looked. "Yeah, I can see one just there." "Perfect. We must tell the Fat Controller this instant." Bertie's driver hurried away, while Bertie stared with admiration at the old car before him. The Fat Controller was just leaving Kirk Ronan Station. He was just wondering about what to have for his tea when Thomas came hurrying in. "Thomas," said the Fat Controller, "what have I told you and the other engines about racing into stations?" "I'm so sorry, sir," said Thomas, "but there's been a call from Bertie." "Bertie?" said the Fat Controller. "He didn't arrive at the station at the end of my branch line," explained Thomas, "but there's more." Thomas quickly explained everything. The Fat Controller hurried into his cab. "Take me to the Sodor recovery unit at once," he ordered. When Thomas arrived, Butch the breakdown vehicle had already been given the route to go. The Fat Controller travelled with Butch's driver, and they set off, unaware what was going to be waiting for them. The Fat Controller stood beside Bertie as Butch heaved with all his might, trying to get Benson out of the field he had been in. Sure enough, when Benson was back on the road, the Fat Controller smiled. My dear Benson, he beamed. After all these years, what ever happened to you? When I last saw you, I had sold you to the Elsbridge cricket team.
Well, I was there shortly after we lost your father,
admitted Benson.
but the cricket club sold me once they brought Caroline. A farmer bought me and used me for his personal car. When he managed to get a lorry, there was no further use for me, so I was dumped in this field. If it wasn't for this bus, I'd still be here.
Benson looked wearily at Bertie. Well done, Bertie, said the Fat Controller. I am incredibly proud of you for finding Benson. There's more good news, sir, called Butch from behind. My mechanics just confirmed that we can fix Benson up to his former glory. Excellent, said the Fat Controller. Butch, take Benson to your garage at once. I might have something special planned for the car that once belonged to my father. Benson and Bertie looked at each other, wondering what was going to happen. 2 weeks later, Bertie was waiting at the top station on Thomas's branch line. Next to the station was a small sign which read, "See the return of Benson." Just as Bertie was wondering about this, a loud horn echoed from the car park.
What do you think of this, Bertie?
called Benson as he rolled up next to the bus. The Fat Controller was in his Sunday best and strode down from Benson. You look just as you were when my father first brought you, smiled the Fat Controller. Benson grinned.
As I said before, it wouldn't have been possible without Bertie.
Bertie gave a small smile. The Fat Controller was very happy. I've decided that Benson will stay at my mansion, he said. We'll take him out on special trips like picnics and excursions. I'm sure my grandchildren will enjoy riding in you, Benson. Bertie was delighted too. For once in his life, and possibly for the first time since his race with Thomas, he had finally had an exciting moment happen to him, and he hoped that the next time he saw Algy, he would tell him all about it.